When Cessna executives fly in a Brazilian-built jet, then you know that the Embraer Phenom 300 is seriously incredible. More than a decade after its debut, the Phenom 300 continues to lead the light jet segment. If you step inside this jet, the first thing you'll notice is how elegant the design is. You'll appreciate how it offers flexible, comfortable passenger accommodations. If you step in the cockpit, you'll notice the cutting-edge technology it's equipped with, which offers a top-quality flying experience for the pilot. Plus, its efficiency makes it one of the most cost-effective aircraft in cost per available seat mile. For owner-operators, the single-pilot light jet is staggeringly efficient, cost-effective, dependable, and a gorgeous example of functional aeronautical design. When Embraer introduced the Phenom 100 in 2008, customers loved it, but they wanted the same design in a bigger airframe, something that can travel faster, further, and more comfortable. So, Embraer began designing the Phenom 300 in 2009. This aircraft is designed to stretch the limits of the light jet segment by creating an airplane with best-in-class performance, comfort, and utility while keeping operating costs at turboprop levels. The Phenom 300 was so successful in that regard that it has been the best-selling light business jet worldwide since its introduction. The smaller Phenom 100 outshines its direct competitor, the Cessna Citation Mustang and the Cirrus Vision SF-50, though the Vision jet wins only in the area of operating cost. No light jet comes close to the beauty and performance of the larger Phenom 300, including the Cessna Citation CJ3 and CJ4. When you look at this jet from the outside, you'll notice that it is in no way a small jet. The Phenom 300 measures 51 feet 4 inches long and 16 feet 9 inches tall with a 52-foot wingspan. Speaking of interior space, because the design of the fuselage is oval, the cabin offers the highest vertical space and legroom along with the largest windows in its class. The innovative seat designs also allow for a more spacious, wider center aisle. In fact, the Phenom series boasts 10% more cabin room than the Citation CJ4. The flexible seating configurations comfortably accommodate 6 to 10 passengers with an optional refreshment center and a full lavatory with a sink. In addition, the Phenom 300 has a cabin altitude of 6,600 feet when the airplane is at 45,000 feet, which beats any aircraft in its class. All Phenom 300s are equipped with 2 remarkably powerful and efficient Pratt & Whitney Canada PW535E turbofan engines, which produce 3,478 pounds of thrust each. And because the highly efficient engine, the noise footprint is much lower. It also achieves better fuel economy and produces fewer emissions than its competitors. Also, due to these efficient engines, the Phenom 300 has a quieter cabin than its competitors. The powerful engines and innovative winglet design allow incredibly fast climb rates, up to 3,000 feet per minute. Combined with its comparatively short takeoff field length of 3,209 feet versus the CJ4's 3,410 feet takeoff requirement, the Phenom 300 series jets really shine in steep slope approaches and hot and high conditions like those in Telluride, Colorado. This flexibility allows access to more airstrips in more locations, reducing wasted ground travel time and expense. The Phenom 300 cruises at a speedy max of 446 knots. The 300E improves this to 464 knots with max operating altitude of 45,000 feet. They boast a 5-occupant range of 1,992 and 2,010 nautical miles with IFR reserves respectively. Originally capable of reaching a show-stopping maximum Mach 0.78, the Phenom 300E increased to a maximum Mach 0.80 with the recent enhancements. The improvements edge out the CJ4 as the fastest and longest-ranged single-pilot jet in business aviation while maintaining the power, reliability, and smooth handling of the original Phenom 300 model. One area they significantly outperform competitors is in value retention, because they hold about 89% of their values after 3 years. Compare that to a 3-year-old Citation CJ4, which is currently selling for just 79% of its value. In addition to retaining value, the Phenom 300 series aircraft are known for their outstanding dispatch reliability, and they offer comparatively low maintenance and operations costs, offering a lower total variable cost than the Citation CJ4. This makes it a favorite of fractional operators like FlexJet, who have lauded the aircraft for its 99% dispatch reliability. The primary reason the Embraer Phenom series are better than every light jet in the market is that they are made with the most recent design and construction techniques, which include composite constructions, which helps keep the overall weight low, keep capabilities higher, thereby making it more fuel efficient. In comparison, the Cessna Citation M2 was introduced in 1991. Despite that, the Cessna is a workhorse. The Phenom 300 is far more efficient and elegant. Without getting into performance numbers, a lot of people consider the design of the Cessna to be uninspiring, especially because they feel Cessna could have given it a more pointy nose, more sleek windshield, and also put a sexy air star to it. But I personally think it's not ugly. Engineering decisions involve compromise. If they made the nose cones pointy, there may be a compromise in other areas. When it comes to aerodynamics, the gain in reduced drag count by using a pointy nose might produce flow separation extending when the aircraft is a bit off axis to the cone. This can lead to serious impacts on stall and spin behavior, low-speed performance, and handling. At low speeds in particular, a teardrop shape has the lowest drag and has the best flow adhesion at a high angle of attack. Also, these aircraft do not go supersonic, so comprehensible drag is not really a consideration. Pointy shapes really do not see much value until the forward speed reaches the speed of sound. Other considerations might have been more ordinary, that if you put a sharp cone in front, it can interfere with radar function, cost more to manufacture, or have negative effects on weight and balance. With Cessna single-pilot jets aside, other American light jet builders are not exactly doing well either. There hasn't been a recent entrant into the single-pilot jet market. Eclipse Aviation did a great job with the highly economical Eclipse 500 and 550, but bad management decisions took them out of business. The Piper jet didn't make it past the certification phase. The Cirrus Vision jet is great and revolutionary. I love it, honestly. I would choose it over the Embraers, but that's just my own opinion, because in reality, the Vision jet only wins in the area of economics, and that's because it has only one engine, and because of that, it cannot compete with others in terms of performance. Even some turboprops perform better than it does. The TBM 940 and the Epic E1000, for example, can climb much faster, fly faster, and further than the Vision jet. Speaking of other light jets, the Hawker 400 has been out of production. Same with the Beechcraft Premier. The production of the Learjet just wrapped up, leaving just a few in production. And most of these lights need two pilots to fly, and they don't match the performance and efficiency of the Embraers. The Pilatus PC-24 poses a threat to the Embraer, but if they should compete, they'll both be like toothless dogs to each other's capabilities. Pilatus started work on the PC-24 following the success of the PC-12 because they wanted to build an aircraft with greater range, speed, and the rugged airfield capability of the PC-12. After years of development, the PC-24 was introduced in 2013 and rolled out the following year. The PC-24 is more of a multi-purpose powerhouse designed to take you from gravel to grass or even more rudimentary runways. It's built for versatility. The Pilatus PC-24 and Embraer Phenom 300E are two extremely popular business jets. Both are single-pilot certified with similar range figures. However, there are some crucial differences. The Pilatus PC-24 is the first business jet manufactured by Pilatus, and it has been a tremendous success. According to the designers, the PC-24 doesn't fit into the regular light business jet category, but rather its own new category, the SVJ, Super Versatile Jet. Pilatus gave it this name because it combines the versatility of a turboprop, the cabin size of a medium jet, and the performance of a light jet. The Honda, on the other hand, is another seriously incredible aircraft, but it can only compete with the Embraer Phenom 100. So, why is the Honda jet so popular? If we get down to the details, we'll see that the Honda jet can be operated by either a single pilot or two pilots. The total length of the aircraft is measured at 42 feet 7 inches, while the wingspan is somewhere around 39 feet 9 inches wide. That's pretty decent if you ask me. Speaking of height, this jet stands 14 feet 11 inches tall. The maximum takeoff weight is about 10,700 pounds, and this is achieved by the two GE Honda HF120 turbofan engines, which produce around 2,000 pounds of thrust each. Now, since we talked about the modest fuel consumption, we should mention that if you were to fly at 420 knots, which is the cruise speed of the Honda Jet, then you're looking at a fuel consumption of about 999 pounds per hour at 33,000 feet. But in a long-range cruise of 360 knots at 43,000 feet, it burns about 542 pounds per hour. Now do you see why we said that the jet has modest fuel consumption? Speaking of range, any destination that's 1,650 miles away can be reached without the need to refuel. This makes this jet perfect for trips like London to Barcelona, New York to Atlanta, Los Angeles to Texas, or Toronto to Chicago. Plus, you'll soar above the skies because the Honda Jet has a service ceiling of 43,000 feet. One of the most interesting things that'll catch your attention on the outside of this jet is that the engines are not mounted under the wings, and they're not exactly mounted on top of the wings either. They're in fact mounted on pylons above the wing, a configuration called over-the-wing engine mount by Honda Aircraft. This configuration maximizes cabin space by removing the structure required to mount engines on the rear of the fuselage. It is a peculiar design feature that the creator of this aircraft wanted because it offered a lot more room inside the cabin and makes the jet quieter than the competitors because the engines are detached from the body of the plane. The over-the-wing engine design originated from Germany in the early 1970s when the VFW Fokker 614 was built. This was the first plane that had the engine suspended above the wings. This arrangement had several advantages, such as avoiding the structural weight penalties imposed by rear-mounted engines and the potential ingestion risks present when engines were mounted beneath the wings. This engine configuration also allowed the adoption of a short, sturdy undercarriage, which was especially suited to performing operations from poorly prepared runways. The position of the engine over the wing compared to under wing also shielded people on the ground from intake noise during flyovers. So why didn't it catch on despite being so good? First of all, the airplane was a commercial failure. Second, this engine configuration interfered between the wing and the engine, and this interference resulted in flow separation, which in turn limited the cruise speed to Mach 0.65. That's why it remained buried in aircraft history. People laughed at it, but the Honda Jet design and development team saw an opportunity. They studied all the issues the engine configuration faced in the past and improved it. Today, this engine placement contributes to helping the Honda Jet get 20% better fuel efficiency. The Honda Jet represents the ultimate combination of Japanese engineering and elegance. This is a master of short-range missions, perfect for trips within 1,000 miles. The cabin of this jet measures 12.1 feet long, 5 feet wide, and 4.8 feet tall, giving it a total cabin volume of 324 cubic feet, making it comfortable for 6 passengers. The seat configuration can vary for the different jets. You have pull-out tables so you can get some work done while flying, and the interior is all leather. None of that is really interesting. The best part about this private jet is the fact that you have a special room for a laboratory, which is hard to find in a jet this size. The baggage compartment can hold up to 9 bags, assuming your average piece of luggage is less than 5 cubic feet. The Honda Jet has a maximum range of 1,388 miles, which makes it ideal for a trip like New York to Atlanta, Houston to Miami, or LA to Las Vegas.
So this is it. Hope you learned something today. Please don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.